Hello, beautiful souls. This is Vanessa Donaldson, military spouse transitional coach, and also the van life consultant. And today I am honored to have Molly Murphy with me. She is a certified embodied movement facilitator. And she is coming to us from Brazil right now. Molly and I actually met on the beaches of Mexico. So we're both van life people. Well, surprise, surprise. We love being in nature. We love doing the van life thing. So we met at this expo in Baja, Mexico, and have been in touch and communication ever since. We boondock on our own. We come together and have other meetups with other van lifers. So kind of this ebb and flow is really cool. And now that's all over. That was all in the month of February. And we're in March now, so people are moving on to other things. Some people are still doing the van life thing in Mexico, like full time. And yeah, I was talking with Molly the other day, catching up a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Are you back in Lake Tahoe where you are and where you live?" And she said, "No, my intuition told me to go to Brazil for a while. I'm going to go to Brazil and I'm going to reconnect and reset, like me, the reset coach." So when Molly and I were together, we ended up doing meditation session together, which I hosted since I'm certified as a 6-phase meditation a trainer with Mind Valley and Vishen Lakiani. And Molly has all this certified embodiment movement facilitator coaching stuff. So I said, what is that? So we did some of her stuff. We did some of my stuff. We'd sit in the open air under gazebos, and awnings under our vans, and just had an awesome time. So I wanted to bring her on today to just focus on meditation, breath work, and nature, that kind of conversation. So thank you, Molly, for joining us today, all the way from Brazil.
Thank you for Vanessa for inviting me on here. It's an honor.
All right. Well, thank you. So first of all, how long have you been in the whole world and space of, meditation, breath work? Has it just been this journey you've been on for a long time, or did you have like some events in your life that just maybe spinning out, burning out, and something that made you slow down? How did you get into this space?
Actually, I started in meditation originally about 10, 11 years ago when I was going through a divorce, and I chose to find my spiritual path. And that started, everything, one thing leads to another, that leads to another. And I started doing a daily meditation practice. And so I've been doing daily meditation practice for about 10 years. And then 3 years ago, I found breathwork, and that has changed my life. And then I went to a retreat in September of 2022 and did a lot of embodied movement. And the co-facilitator there that did that was leading a facilitator training course on embodied movement. So I did a 3-month container with her and really got to learn how to let my body process emotions that the mind wants to, make a story around. And then, of course, any story, you kind of, we've all been taught to like shove the emotions down. And so you make that story of like, oh, this hurt me this time, I'm going to put it here. And your body stores that resonance. So for the embodied movement, when you get out of your mind and into your heart and your body gets to remember how to actually process the emotions. And so it's this really beautiful process of just letting my body like take over. And so now when I feel that something triggers me or I have an emotion arise, all of a sudden, like my body just starts moving and I don't even realize it. I'll be like down the street, like, but then I'm not
releasing.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I'm not projecting onto other people. Like if I'm angry, and it's like the road rage, like, to other people. And instead it's like, move it out, gone, done. Yeah. Thank you for that. So,
and the moving, the shaking, also like even like free dancing, like, I was a jazzercise instructor years ago. I love doing Zumba. So even things in whether it's my dance might be a little more choreographed or choreographed. I know with you it was like, don't think about the movement too much, right? You were like much more free flowing, like just let your body go whichever way. Cause I'm like 1, 2, 3 step, 1, 2, 3 step. I'm like trying to do a coordinated dance. So it's a little different, I guess, when you're releasing the body like that, right?
Yeah, and it's been really beautiful to be a facilitator and be able to watch women as they go through their journey, because a lot of it is in the mind of like, oh, am I doing this right? Do I look silly? And we're so in the ego and the mind of, I want to make sure this is right. And then once we can really get out of that and into the heart, all of a sudden the body is able to move in ways that we've never really moved before. Because in this society, like, we're so linear in our movements, right? And so one thing that I've learned, I couldn't even really circle my hips. When I started, I was so stiff, and and I hold a lot of my emotions around like my hips, and a lot of
Mhm.
women do. And so to really just let my body go and learn how to just like spiral and move in ways that I hadn't moved before, um, was so liberating, and also helped
Mm.
me connect to my sensual side.
Mhm.
So, there's so many factors that have come to play with me just getting into my body and letting my body move the way she wants to without the judging mind.
Mhm.
Um, so
It
yeah,
reminds
it's
me a
been,
little of belly dancing too, when you start doing like that, because I lived in Tunisia, North Africa in my youth. So I just remember anywhere we went at events, dinners, whatever, there was always a lot of ladies wearing their jewels and the coins around the skirts and, just shaking it. And they had abs. Oh my gosh, abs of steel, because it's actually doing a lot of muscle work too, I guess. But yeah, the belly dancing kind of gets you moving in that, central spot area where a lot of women could be like, very self-conscious about too. So, you can start off by just doing it by yourself in the mirror. Like, you don't have to do it outside with someone else if it's your first time. Just start by yourself. It's all like self-love. It's for yourself. So just do it for yourself wherever you are, even if it's alone in a bathroom or wherever your space is.
yeah.
So
Like,
the movement and the dancing and that part, and then how would you tie in breath work? What does breath work mean to you in terms of like inhaling, exhaling, holding counts? Like, how does that look like for you?
so breath work means to me, basically our breath is our life, right? It's like that life force energy. And so, I've done yoga for years and years, and you connect your breath to your movements, and it's geared that way. So then when you sit in meditation, you're more open and receptive. So for me, breath work, I had always just associated with like yoga and, just calming myself, like, okay, take a deep breath. And once I started diving into true breath work, again, it's like the embodied movement where the emotions stored in the body are allowed to be released. So I've had breath work sessions that were powerful to the extent like they felt like I was on a plant medicine journey, like seeing visuals and past life experiences and stuff just through the breath.
Wow.
It's so powerful when you get to actually breathe in that way, and just the body again goes into its own, like, our bodies are so intelligent, but our minds are always trying to control. So when we let our bodies actually do what they're made to do, it's amazing. Like, I have come to this realization that they say that we only use about 10% of our brain, and imagine what would happen if we use like if we could use the other 90%. I
Mhm.
feel that same with my body. Like
Or
I'm
even
just starting.
5%, even 5% more, right? Or 10%
Yeah.
more.
And so it's the same with the body. Like we've only been taught how to use our body a certain percentage. And now there's this whole other side and opportunities to really explore our bodies and let the knowledge that's lies within our body show us stuff and, help us to really heal and unfold into who we truly are. And so
Mhm.
it's really powerful as far as breath work, as far as embodied movement, anything that gets us out of the mind and into the heart space and into the feeling body. Because we've over the years have numbed ourselves, right? So many people have addictions, whether it's caffeine, whether it's alcohol, whether it's shopping, whether it's eating.
There's a new
There's
addiction now that I'm coaching on too, and it's screen addiction. Yeah,
yeah,
screen
that is
dependency.
that is my one addiction, I do have to say, and it's horrible.
We
And
all have
so
some of it, but we're working on it. And awareness is the first step, right? I
oh,
have
there's
some of it
times
too.
where I'm like, I didn't even realize my phone's in my hand. I'm scrolling. I'm not even conscious of it. When I used to smoke cigarettes, it was like that too. I'd be like, I don't remember lighting this, but you go in autopilot. It's like, oh, I'm stressed. Something triggered me. Let me grab my phone or
Let me
drink that
grab this,
drink
let
or
me grab
whatever it
that.
is.
Right.
Yeah. So coming back to the body and working through those emotions and really feeling into the body allows us to be present with ourselves, with each other, with nature. It allows us to truly live. And we live in such a magical world when we actually truly feel into it and open ourselves up for it.
Mhm. So yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. And the whole part of nature, like this is partly why you and I gravitate to the van life too, right? It's the quickest way to get into awe, a state of awe. It's the quickest way to kind of get out of this hectic, almost toxic, techie world that's just overdriven, overconsumed. It's humans didn't live like this, decades ago. And before the internet, like we grew up in the generation without even internet or cell phones. Like we would go outside and play with sticks, right? And pick up rocks and build things. I mean, I remember playing mom with like a bucket with acorns in my little playhouse in North Africa. We had all these like acorns and little bald fruit things that would fall off the tree, and I would have buckets going with sticks, and I'd talk to myself, and I was homemaking, but it's a different way to play. And when I was younger too, my mom being German, we'd go to visit her or visit with her in Germany to see family. And we would go to like these obstacle course places and places in the woods where you just pick up sticks and play with natural elements that are around you. There was no store-bought item. It was all nature. So there's just something to be said. It's like a lost art now. Like we're losing our identity because of we're not focusing on nature. So the van life and having access to a vehicle that can get us to nature quicker, get us to this place of solitude by beach, by mountain, in a forest, wherever. You can't help but slow down, right? If you're not on, like, think of being on a freeway with the cars like this, like the Los Angeles traffic where we used to live around, and then take that all away and you're just now sitting on a beach in Baja, Mexico. Your body is going to have a different reaction to zigzagging cars and beeping horns and all that, to the therapy of listening to the ocean waves and just watching waves cascading, and maybe a whale spouting too, right? We were there during whale season, so we were blessed to see whales. So yeah, when we incorporate the nature, and then you're adding slowing down, the breath work, meditation, like it's a magical space. And if we don't force ourselves to get out and do that, like nobody's gonna do it for us. People can make excuses. I don't have time. I go on one vacation a year and that's it for a few days, whatever. Like it's, yeah, reevaluate, because when we make the time and make it a priority, it just gives us a whole new way of, like you said, reacting to the world. So when things come our way, like I just always find you such a calm, collected woman. And that's what, attracts me to people that are like-minded like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so calm in her space. She's not, doesn't seem triggered with stuff. She's got this like ebb and flow, like we'll figure it out, it'll get done. I'm like, I got to get to know Molly more. So yeah. And then getting to know you more, I see your background now and what you've been working on for years, it wasn't always like this for any of us. We're all evolving. And I guess like anything in life, you get out of it what you put into it. So, so yeah, so what can we leave our guests with that are maybe on the side of anxious and burnout, and they're just overwhelmed with their situation that they're in right now, and they're just thinking, you've had friends, I've had clients that say like, I can't, I don't have time, or even like a 2-minute meditation. If I've told somebody like, let's just do a 2 minutes, I don't, if it, or 10 minutes, if it's 10 less than or more than 2 minutes, I'm not interested. More than 2 minutes, I'm not interested. Like someone's told me that before too. So yeah, working with clients, if they've never done it before, you start with 1 minute, 2 minutes, because that seems like an eternity for someone that hasn't had that experience and that attention, the training to just sit still, and to focus on what's in front of you. So what kind of nuggets and value can we bring our audience to, if they're on that side, that edgy side that you were on, maybe a decade ago, and how they can start to come out of that? Because it's a training and it's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. So what can you add before we close today?
First, I want to say that we have put so much value on what people do for a living and how much money they make. And truly, the value is in what kind of person are you? Who are you as a person? So just changing that mindset of, I don't have to make 6 figures to be of value to others. Like, be a good person, be a kind person. Start there. As far as knowing when you're getting anxious or when you're getting triggered in some way, and just taking like 3 to 7 conscious breaths. Start there, which is still hard when you're going. It's like, oh, I don't have time for that even. It takes less than 2 minutes, but just trying to like put your hand on your heart, feel into your heart space and breathe there, and just see if you can even feel, can I feel my heartbeat? Ooh, let me feel my heartbeat for just a second. Let me take some deep breaths into my heart and let it go, and just come back to your heart for 3 to 5 breaths. And then see if you still feel as anxious, or if that thing is still as urgent, or whatever it is. Because just coming back to the breath and to your heart will calm you down in like no time at all, it's and then training yourself to do that, because really it's the link between spinning out and reconnecting, right? And everyone's scared to jump that bridge originally, or jump that gap between those, because we're in that spin out mindset of like, go, I got to do this. It's, I've got to get the kids, and I got to pick up this, and I got to make dinner, and blah, blah, blah. Taking a breath, coming back to the heart, and just feeling your heart beating in your chest, and breathing into that space for less than a minute even, is going to help calm you. And then you can think a little bit more clearly. So that's a
Beautiful.
very easy recommendation, but still a lot of people will have resistance to it because it's start of something new, right? And we're all nervous for change because everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, many people fear change.
Right.
I
And
now love it. I'm like, what can you bring me? Like, because change always, as uncomfortable it is at first, it's amazing on the, like, when you get through that tunnel, it's just like, oh, it's like this amazing secret valley that you just found. So just taking time to slow your roll and slowly little things like breathing into your heart space for 3 to 7 breaths. And then from there, maybe incorporating a little bit of like movement or sitting in meditation eventually for 5 minutes, set a timer. And then after a month, if 5 minutes is good, 10 minutes. And know that when you start to meditate, it's not all like, whoo, my mind gets quiet and I'm just like dropped in. No, it took me, I think, 1.5 years of daily meditation before I could drop in and just be like, I'm here. You know, it took me 1.5 years of like, I'd set the timer for 10 minutes and I'd be like, okay, I'm sitting here. I've got stuff to do. What am I doing? This is a waste of
the
time.
mind's wandering.
Yeah, totally worth it in the end. But man, it was a lot of discipline at the beginning to even sit because I'm like, this is stupid. I'm doing nothing. I'm wasting my time. You know, I could be doing this. And in reality, I would do other things that really weren't productive either as a way to like deal with the stresses in life instead of, you know, coming back to myself and being present. So.
And scientifically, it's proven too, when you do slow down, when you slow your body down, you know, when you take vacations and just decompress, reset, you're actually speeding up and getting ideas for your mind in the future to do productive things for your business or your family, whatever you're working on, your goals. So it sounds counterproductive, but when we can get in the habit of finding that balance and slowing down in certain seasons regularly, it actually is productive for getting things done in our daily life when we're back into the, you know, worldly setting more. So yeah, it's makes a difference.
Well, and it goes back to, if you look at nature, tie nature back in, it goes back to, you know, seasons. In the winter, things go dormant. It's their time to recharge and think of ideas and start to like birth this creative side of you, right? So then when everything melts off and things emerge in the spring, they're ready to like shoot up and like, whoa, life. And so for us, if we take that time to go inward and quiet down and see like what wants to be created, what feels good, how can I rest deeply to allow these ideas to pop up, then when you're ready to reemerge, like you're ready, you know what you're doing, you've got it down, you've got your focus, and you can move forward. But without that, if you're just always going, there's no way, I don't care who you are, that you're not going to reach burnout. And there's no point. Like this life, like we are meant to have fun and be playful and joyous. And so many of us get so stuck in the constant having to perform and having to do and having to go that we've forgotten how to do.
Yeah. And then you're kind of losing your life because you're missing those special moments. You're missing the moments of living in the now. And like you said, because of the skill set you develop, you can connect and focus on other people quicker. You can have maybe more impact in your community. You can just be more aware of your community, your surroundings, not just self, but others oriented too. Like it all comes together. So the only way to do that is, again, like you say, to incorporate these principles, because if not, like you said, we're all going to burn out at some point. So you want to be living the moment because every day is a gift. We don't know what tomorrow holds. So yeah, that's
Really quickly, one other exercise I invite people to do is you can do this like on a park bench, or if you're outside, wherever it is. Look at like a small, I'd say about this big space for a couple of minutes and just see how many things move through that space, whether it be like a sidewalk or a chunk of lawn or whatever it is. See how many bugs move through that space. See how many people move through that space. Give yourself 2 minutes and just watch that space. And it's amazing to see how much everybody's always like going and moving, like everything, like
creatures.
there's no way you're not going to look at that space for 5 minutes and not see at least an ant or a fly land or something. And that's another way to just kind of like move your focus from going to just being and observing.
I've called it, in the coaching experience I've done and been trained at, laser focusing. So like with positive intelligence, there's actually techniques for that, like literally laser focusing at something. So that totally ties in with what you're saying about focusing 2-3 minutes on a certain space and trying not to get distracted and seeing all the life and movement going on, even in just like this type of space like this, right? Doesn't even have to be far out, just what's ever in front of you. So thank you. Oh my gosh, amazing tips. And so, yeah, this is all spiritual type practice. I'm a Christian too, so I also value and add in prayer. For me, that's huge. Prayer, meditation kind of go together. So whatever works for you, or if you're looking for more ways to get ideas and to work on that for yourself. Molly, I should end with how people can reach you. Do you have some type of social media platform that you can share with us in case people do want to reach you to continue that conversation with you?
Unfortunately, not yet.
We're working on it.
Inward journey for a long time, and I am now getting ready to start launching a platform. So it's in the works. It'll be shortly. So hopefully by the time you put this video out, I will have something. But as of this moment right now, I've just been doing a lot of inner work and
preparing
before I talk the talk, So
that's awesome. Yeah, and in the future, I guess I can always go back to the YouTube and add more into the description. So more to come, everything in its right timing. So in the meantime, since you can't reach Molly directly, I can still get you to her, but you can always reach Vanessa at resetwithvanessa.com. That's my website. So Vanessa, Vanessa, with WITH, Vanessa, VANESSA.com, resetwithvanessa.com. You can find all my contact information in there, and I'm happy to connect you with Molly if you want to have another conversation with her. So thank you so much for joining us all the way from Brazil. See, I think you missed Carnival time too. Carnival was what, in February usually in Brazil, when I used to live there as a kid too. Didn't they have Carnival? Did you miss that in Brazil?
I was in Mexico with you.
Right. So I don't know if it's the same time. So Mexico and Brazil is all
Carnival's not really my thing. So
you weren't going to go there and do that kind of shaking and dancing and stilettos or anything.
No.
Well, enjoy the rest of your time there. And thank you so much for taking, making this creating this special space for us to connect. And Zoom is so great. Here I am. I'm doing the van life. We just left Mexico. We're floating around the US doing national parks, just getting into nature. We just did a 7-hour hike up the Cleveland National Forest or Park in California. And then we did it. What was the other one? The caverns. Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico. That was impressive, going down to a cave. So a whole other part of nature, of getting down into a cave. And I mean, the ranger turned off the light for a few minutes, so we got to be in that pitch blackness. Very cool. So, but anyway, thank you so much for joining, and we will catch more of these videos and hopefully bring people along so that they can have less stress in their life and just live in the now, live with ease and flow. That's what we want for everybody. So thank you. Signing off.
Thank you, Vanessa.